Hi, hi, hi. Should I do this crazy filter for right now? No, we'll do our normal one. Hi, guys. Hi. Hi, Gabriella. What's going on, everybody? Hi, Jessica. Hi, guys. Okay, good. We're good on YouTube streaming also. Hi. Okay. Drop a comment if you're watching this on YouTube too. Hi, guys. Hi, Kelly. Baby Cakes. So welcome. I'm going to oops. I'm gonna just be doing a little. Hi guys. Oh my god. I was trying to do this from my bed in my guest room today instead of on the floor because I just felt like it. So it's a whole new setup for me. I'm also wearing so many layers because I just went for a cold, rainy walk and I'm freezing. But I wanted to say hi, and I wanted to use this little chat today. We're not doing the morning shows on the weekends. Everyone can relax, sleep in. But I do want to, do little like bonuses, especially while we're home during quarantine, things that are educational and hopefully engaging. So today I want to talk about I've had a lot of questions lately about obviously astrology, as always, but a lot of what we're going to do in the Cosmic Boss is aligning yourself, your soul, your self-care practices, but also your business, your brand, your launch plans with astrology. So I had so many questions from people like, how do you do this? What does this mean? So I wanted to give you a few tips for just how to use astrology if you're. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to use it if you're an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, sometimes it makes it a little easier to work with astrology because you have that flexibility in your schedule. But this is really tips that anyone can use for astrology for, like, again, like I said, if you're a leader, if you work somewhere, if you're a creative, this is just about using it to tune into your natural gifts so you can stop doubting them and just do them. It's about using it to understand where maybe some of your obstacles may be, where maybe it's good to look outside of yourself for help, and a little bit about, using it for projecting and sort of forecasting certain things. So I'm just going to give you kind of a rundown of how I use astrology, some of my clients, and how we use it definitely for business and how we'll be using it for the Cosmic Boss. So if you're interested in learning more about this and you want to set up a free call with me, I'm doing free one-on-one discovery calls for the Cosmic Boss. We're about, I think, like 75-80% full, but I would love to get a few more just soul-centered, heart-aligned people in there. And I know there's a lot of questions and I want you to suss out and feel in your body, is this the right decision for you? And sometimes it's just easier to do that over a one-on-one call, right? And also I can answer your questions. And just know that it's never any pressure. Like, I literally just leave on the call being like, wow, I have a new friend in my community. Even if you're not ready to work with me now, I just like saying hi to you and checking in. And I love hearing all the amazing things you guys are up to in the world. So let's talk a little bit about astrology. So let me know here if any of you guys have ever used astrology in your business before, or for planning purposes. We're going to talk about first just the basics of the birth charts that I would say is like 101 that you should know about yourself if you're trying to do anything where you're living from the heart and trying to tap into your purpose. First, we definitely want to look at our sun, moon, rising. Again, everyone, okay, Jessica, of course you do my multi-aquarium. You're like, it totally makes sense. I had this download this morning about like all of these star seeds that I work with, like you guys, who are just like actually from other planets, like from other dimensions, which I feel like, Jessica, that is definitely you. And I was like, oh yeah, like this is so cool that like part of my job is just getting to like work with like all these interdimensional beings. And I know that I'm not from this world. I know I'm definitely from a different dimension. And I was thinking about astrology this morning. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just like relearning like star language that I probably actually know better than human earth English language. But anyway, I had talked to so many of you guys in the past few days, one-on-one in our group trainings. And like, wow, it's so cool that like I get to hang out with all of these intergalactic badasses. So, so yeah. So Kelly learning with me now. Kelly is one of my one-on-one BBs. So yeah, we're walking through a lot of that. But definitely learning your sun, moon, rising, really important. And I'm gonna try and keep this pretty simple. If we want to do a longer workshop, I've been definitely toying with the idea of like this spring doing a webinar that would be like really a class on this, but just sun, moon, rising. We want to think about this is the triangle, this is the arrow that we move through life with. This is how we like enter into new situations and with a deep understanding of who we are, who we're here to be, our emotional needs, wants, desires, and then our rising, like what are the tools, what are the things that we have to greet new situations with? How do people see us? How do people relate to us? What's like our first way that we're going to approach something for the first time, and kind of what leads us there? So looking at our sun, moon, rising for business, so important. Definitely your sun sign. There's octaves within every sign. There's the high octave of the sign, which is the super advanced, light, super like high integrity aspects of the sign. And then there's the shadow aspects of the sign, and we carry all within us. So definitely looking at like as you step into your sun sign, into the higher octaves, as you get older, can definitely inform you a lot about your leadership style, your attachment style, your ethics, your values, what's going to light you up. It's your sun sign. We want to look at like what lights us up, what makes us feel good, what we need to feel supported in that. And then our moon sign, we're going to look at for business. There's a few, and there's many ways to work with our moon sign. I'm just giving you guys super high level today because I had so many questions about it this week with the Cosmic Boss launch. So I just wanted to, again, give you some just tips. We're home. I'm going to be recording this on YouTube too, so you can go back and watch it. But looking at your moon sign, really important because, again, this is where a lot of your creativity is going to come from. It's like your moon sign is gathering information from a higher realm. And then your moon sign is gathering. It's all this intuition. And then your sun sign is what's going to help actually process it and break down that information and get it out to the world in a way that either makes sense or is like digestible. So we want to look at like, okay, when we're like, what is our soul aligned with? What comes easily to us? What's that like that language that we speak within us that comes super, super easy? We want to look at our moon sign for that. So for an example, like I'll just give my own chart for reference. I'm a Virgo sun. So yes, I love being organized. I love lists. I love serving others. But growing up, I didn't always identify with that because I was like, well, I'm a Virgo, but I don't feel organized all the time. And I feel like Virgos also have this thing about like perfectionism, and I feel that, but I also am like a super messy, artistic kind of person. And obviously like frolicking around in this realm of like the dream realm and the creative realm and the mystical realm was always like very appealing to me, almost to a point where it was hard for me to focus in the everyday real world. So I'm like, okay, I'm a Virgo. Okay. And then when I first got like my first real in-depth chart reading, it was, okay, I'm a Pisces moon, I found out. So I'm like, okay, now my Pisces moon makes sense. That's now when I started to stop resisting so much about my personality. I mean, like, okay, yes, there's a side of me that is dreamier and more artistic and creative and kind of in touch with the unseen realm. And my Virgo can help my Pisces moon get it out into the world in a way that makes sense. But it's all about understanding like we have these different nuances in ourselves. So we don't have to fit into one box, because I'm a big believer in like your work, your career, your purpose. Just like self-care, these are not things that are one note. These are things that are not cookie cutter. Okay. They're completely uniquely individual to you. Okay. Oh my God. Oh, hi, Gabriella. Opposite. Oh, demo Chris. Oh, really? Okay. You're Pisces Virgo moon. I love that. So again, these are just ways we begin to, you're a Pisces sun too. Oh, Look at all my Pisces hanging out in here, of course. The Pisces are like, oh, a Saturday chat about astrology. Perfect. Sorry, my little sister just called. I love her. I'll call her back in a second. Um, okay, so, and then another way we can use our moon sign is, and then this is more when we talk about like projection astrology or forecasting or planning, is we want to look at every month you're going to have a lunar return. So with my cosmic boss BPs and my clients, I'm going to have them really map out the days where their lunar return is happening. So for me, those are the Pisces moon days, the 2.5 days, the month where the moon's in Pisces. Your lunar return days, if we're not taking advantage of this, we are just blowing gold out the window. We are totally sleeping on some magic. Your lunar return days are amazing days for you to plug in, like I said, to creativity, to a higher level of consciousness, to just like flow state. So, especially if you have something big that you've been putting off, or you need to write or create or do something, looking at your lunar return days of the month for that is really, really powerful. So again, this is in the Cosmic Boss, like everyone who works with me, I'm going to give them definitely, what days are the lunar return days, and we're going to track that. And we're going to try and be like, okay, those are 2 or 3 days where we can just focus on our inner world, what wants to come up, brainstorming, pulling cards, writing, journaling, having something that's just for like you, your creativity, your intuition, your soul, to have some time together. I've done some of my best work, some of my best creative work, my like aha moments on my lunar return days. And then we also work in the larger projection of astrology throughout the year. Your new moon, your full moon by your sun and your moon signs are amazing days to plant seeds of intention and manifest. So we go over that. And then the last thing I'll say about the rising sign is, we really look at your rising sign of like, your rising sign is like what's pulling you into this next version of yourself, what's pulling you into the fully evolved, especially sun sign version of you. So it's kind of like where you're going to be drawn to go somewhere. What's going to motivate you? What's the impression you're going to give off to someone? What do you kind of need to feel comfortable with a new person or a new project or a new place? So looking at your rising sign too, it's a lot about like your guiding light within your purpose and your career. So I'm just using my own chart here because I know it pretty well. So I'm a Cancer rising. So Cancer is the sign of the divine feminine. Cancer is the sign of the home, the family, nurturing, taking care of others. It's like deeply rooted in the divine feminine. So some people just call Cancer the mother, but she really holds a lot of archetypes of the feminine within Cancer. So I'm also Cancer rising. Cancers are typically very empathetic, intuitive, again, more in that psychic, watery realm. So for me, Cancer rising, like when I'm led to something new, I immediately know if it's really like right for me, if it feels good, because it speaks to my Cancer values. Is this something? That's why I love working with my family. I always have, anyone who knows me from my juice factory in Montauk, my coffee shop, even here, you see I have like my best friends, my cousins on here. Like to me, to work with my family is really important in my purpose, but also to create chosen family and to have like people in my network. Now I have like my business partners and my clients, they all feel like, they're family to me. Cancer rising. Oh my God, Gabriella, we have so much in our chart. Same. Melodramatic soul, Cancer, Sun, Taurus rising. Great. So so we want to look at, and we want to think about, where we go in terms of, okay, like our sun sign wants to evolve into this highest version. You're not always going to feel like your sun sign. Okay. Like for me, Virgo, it's like organized, boss switch energy. I definitely did not feel that way like in my 20s. But following your rising sign is like guides you into the highest version of your sun sign, I believe, in career and purpose. So that's just sun, moon, rising in terms of like how to use some of that in business. And again, I'm going to go on to a few more aspects of your charts. You could take notes on to like explore. It's kind of a rainy day in the East Coast. Obviously, we're quarantined. It's a great time to get to know yourself. Like I said, you can book a reading with me. I'm going to still doing birth chart readings, and I do ones that are specifically for purpose, career, creativity. But I also have the general birth chart reading if you've never had one before. And of course, if you want more info on Cosmic Boss, you'll be getting all of this and so much more there. So we talked about that. So another thing I like to look at, obviously in your chart, which anyone who's anything in astrology, is oh my God, someone's trolling me on the YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. Someone said I belong in the kitchen. I don't even know what that means, but you're deleted. LOL. Dying right now. So I'm like, I am a Cancer rising, but I do not belong in the kitchen unless I decide I want to belong there. Okay, so that distracted me. The internet is so wild. Okay, so another thing we want to look at in our chart for career and purpose is absolutely we want to look at our midheaven. Also, I laugh because like my life was weird. My partner makes me all my meals and like is in the kitchen, and I'm like never in the kitchen, so he would like laugh if he saw that. Okay, so midheaven is like 10th house energy. So midheaven to me is part of there's like mundane astrology is looking at things, but to me, midheaven is so beautiful when we look at esoteric or soul-based astrology, because not only is it's not just our career, like this is what you should do for work. It's not like some guidance counselor test of like an aptitude test. It's about like midheaven. It's the part of your chart that points to the heavens. It's the part of your chart that's truly aligned with your soul's highest calling in the outward facing like part of your life. So where you'll receive the most recognition, where you'll see the most fulfillment in terms of career, and where like, you'll really be honoring all of those gifts that reside within your chart in the outside realm. So looking at your midheaven is so beautiful. It's also a very masculine part of our chart. So we can also dig around there, see if we have any wounds around, our father or masculine energy or something we want to learn more about our own masculine. So looking at our midheaven is super, super important when it comes to tapping into our purpose, our career. And again, we want to look at our chart because these are where things come easily to us. This is where things are in alignment. You can do whatever the F you want to do, okay? Really, truly, like you can do whatever the F you want to do. It does not matter. Like you are here to light up the world. You are here to live a big, crazy, wild life. No holds bars, no limits. So you can do whatever you want to do. But definitely aligning with certain parts of your birth chart are gonna be, okay, how can I do this a little bit easier? How can I do this in step with my natural self, my natural coding, my soul's blueprint? Like this is it. Like it's going to be easier. So for me, you guys are going all about my chart today. I'm a midheaven in Pisces. So I have had many careers that I loved, and I loved again like working in my juice factory. That was a Virgo definitely activation for me because Virgo rules like health and wellness in the physical body. So learning about different recipes and herbs and roots and functional medicine and studying everything from Ayurveda to Chinese medicine and putting it in a bottle for people was so fun for me. It was so fulfilling. But truly, like my soul's highest calling, where I'm going to have the most alignment and the most expansion, comes from Pisces midheaven. So it's like my chart is literally about taking the universe, the metaphysical world, and bringing it down here onto earth in ways that are digestible and sustainable, accessible, and fun. So once I figured that out, I always wanted to get into a more spiritual teacher realm. I wanted to do healings. I wanted to do card readings, everything I'm doing now. But I felt hesitant. Like, is that a real career? Am I going to make money doing that? Like, what do I tell like my family at Christmas time? Like, I don't know how to describe this, that I want to do this. seeing it in your birth chart, it's just validating. I was like, okay, because again, like if you've read your chart before, you do it on your own, or you get readings, treat yourself to at least one reading a year because it constantly evolves and it shifts. And your chart is this like living, breathing, like Harry Potter document, and it reveals different things in different moments. I had to hear something when I was 25, read my chart. I had to read something at 27. And then it wasn't even until honestly a few years ago, my good friend Colin just told me straight up, like, this is Queer Cosmos. Love him. Shout out, one of my favorite souls on the planet. He's looked at my chart and he's like, I love that you're doing all this other stuff. Like, you're here to be a teacher. You're here to be like a spiritual vessel, a channel. And I was like, okay, like hearing that from someone else gave me that confidence boost that I needed. So again, like looking at your chart over and over again, different parts of it. So that's our midheaven. So again, it's really fun to look at that. And then again, there's so many things within that. What other planets might be there in your 10th house can give you a clue to what's also going to like unlock, more career purpose, fulfillment. And then I do want to talk about, since I just said the masculine part of your chart. Oh, good. I'm melodramatic. Good, good, good. I'm so happy. I'm happy you like it. I know, Colin, if you guys don't follow Queer Cosmos, like, I'm sorry, you're missing out. Like, go follow Queer Cosmos. He is my Long Island Mercury husband. We are both ruled by Mercury. And he is just a fast talking, straight shooting vessel for universal wisdom. So go follow him immediately. Okay, so as saying, again, like I am just giving you guys really broad strokes of this astrology for purpose and for business and for success, because it's really like so much information. But this is what we're going to be doing in the Cosmic Boss. And I want to give you guys these tools if you want to use them on your own. Yes. So, oh my God, I'm happy everyone loves him. That makes me love you guys even more. Okay, good. Yes, his communication skills. He is such a Gemini through and through with his Cap Moon, Leo rising. He is born to communicate. Again, like in his chart is so geared. And he also went through a transition where he was at, like he was at Parsons, I believe, in the city, and he was doing more design stuff, and he was gifted in that. But clearly, looking at his chart, it's like he saw kind of what he was meant to do. And that helped sort of give him, obviously, that clarity, that boost, that structure. And I'm so happy he did. And this is why I'm so passionate about the Cosmic Boss, is because I want to remind you of all of your superpowers so you can go out and share them with the world. Because imagine if someone like Colin doubted himself. For those of you who follow him, imagine if he's just like, you know what? I got this degree for Parsons, I guess, interior design, that's my thing. I'm going to stay doing that. He'd be a gift in that world, absolutely. But I'm like, okay, we need him as like a spiritual thought leader right now, like a luminary. So I'm like, so happy you did that and you took that leap. So this is what all this is about. Okay, so I said masculine. I was talking about 10th house midheaven. So another important general tool of looking at your chart is finding your masculine and feminine balance. This is like so much of what is so important about learning about ourselves. And definitely in the Cosmic Boss, we're going to talk a lot about tuning into and trusting our divine feminine, absolutely, but also our sacred masculine, because we need to tap in, activate, and trust our masculine too. We all have it within us. And our birth chart is just such a great reflection of that. Hi, Kelly. Yes, you can still join Cosmic Boss. Enrollment is open through April 12th. April 12th night, we're going to do an initiation ceremony for my Cosmic Bosses on that night. So if you want, DM me and we can set up a time. We can chat more about that. Absolutely. So I would love to talk to you. So masculine and feminine within our chart. Again, for purpose and for, now we've kind of looked at some parts of your chart, like what is your purpose? What is your calling? And there's some more esoteric astrology things we can look at. But now we're starting to get some pieces. We have our sun, our moon, our rising, okay, our midheaven, okay. And then, there's so many things to look at. But one thing I love to look at people right away is in the Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars, I do a lot in my like sacred sexuality readings for people to understand their eroticism and their desire. But it's also really good for understanding like our Venus is our feminine energy. It's where we receive, it's where we attract things in. It's what brings us pleasure, what makes us feel safe. It's what makes us like just call things into us. It's how we call things into us with ease. It's like our magnetism. And that's where it's like we become the flower, not the bee. That's a big thing we talk about in our mindset and our energetic work in Cosmic Boss is like there's time for work and hustle and go, go, go. But there's a lot of the work, in fact, at least half of it, that's just about receiving. That's just about like, let this thing flow to me. Let me do my work, set my intentions, do my inspired actions, and then just let this thing flow. So, that's Venus in our chart. That's our very feminine energy. So we want to look at the sign that it's in, the planet that rules that sign, and then the house that is in. Will give you information of like, okay, that's where I can trust that things will just flow to me. That's where I can trust the universe. I can release my grip a little bit of that control and force, especially in that part of my chart. And also Venus rules money, money, money. So by tapping into that Venus energy, you're also opening channels of abundance and prosperity for yourself. And then also by knowing how to do self-care of your own personal Venus also activates abundance and prosperity. Okay, so I know it's a lot, but this is like really good juicy tidbits. And they've changed my life. They've changed my business by working with them. So then we have our Mars energy. We have our Venus is our feminine energy, our receptive energy. That's really where we're going to just attract things into us and make some money and abundance, but abundance in that like free flowing way, like everything you need just flowing to you, whether it's cash, new clients, new opportunities, mentors, help, event space, whatever it is that you need. And then your Mars part of your chart is where you're going to look at what your masculine like gifts are. A masculine energy, and again, this is regardless of gender, we carry feminine and masculine energy within all of us. So masculine energy is going to be, put my coffee down, is going to be like where we go for something, okay? Like this is the part of our chart where we go after something we want. And it's really important to tune into that because we need to stoke our inner fire, okay? Again, it doesn't have to be struggle energy. It doesn't have to be like this hard hustle energy, but it's like by understanding how to stoke our Mars part of our chart, we know where we almost have like endless energy, endless reserves of energy. We know how to get like when we just need to get our butt in gear, we need to get our like, we're feeling a little stuck or we're feeling a little bit like blah. Looking at our Mars is where we can really go after something. And we can also trust that we have confidence in that part of our chart. We can also trust that that is where like what's going to take us to the next level as we move through our work, through our business, through our practice. The Mars, looking at the sign that's in and the house that it's in, and then trusting if Venus is that feminine, Mars is like your sacred masculine energy, your assertive energy, where you go after something and where you can also allow yourself to be hungry there, okay? Especially as, traditionally, anyone who identifies as like more femme-based, we're not always taught to be like hungry and go after things. Our Mars in our chart like knows what it wants and it knows it wants to go grab it, okay? And it doesn't take any apologies, okay? So it doesn't want any apologies for that. So looking at that, our Venus, our Mars, this brings us together, our balance of feminine, okay? Feminine, masculine balance. This is really, really important. Okay, Kelly, both Venus and Mars are in the same sign. Beautiful. Okay, so when we have that, when they're conjunct, that's like they again have a certain flow to them. They have a certain, they speak a certain language between the two of them. So again, okay, what is Cosmic Bosses? Okay, I'm going to put a link on here because I'll post a link. I'm so bad at posting while I talk. So I'm going to put a link up here for Cosmic Boss, but Melodramatic Soul and Kelly Lavender, DM me after this. Oh, hi, hi, Aaliyah. Oh my goodness. Hi, beautiful. I'm so sad we didn't get to meet up in New York this spring. Yeah, so Cosmic Boss is a 6-month mentorship program where we use business strategy, mindset work, and spiritual development, including astrology, to just tap into your fullest purpose, your deepest potential, and to just live a life with more like confidence and clarity, creativity. So it's good whether you want to launch your own business, you already have one and you want to grow it, or if you're just looking to kind of like tap into more of what that purpose means to you and how you can bring it into what you currently do. Because we need aligned, heart-centered leaders right now. So yeah, so having your Mars and Venus in the same sign, Kelly and Jamie, well, you guys are two of my, you're in Cosmic Boss. So luckily we're gonna have lots of time to go over this. But for anyone else watching, if your Mars and Venus in the same sign, that is like a big red blaring light of like, look at this part of your chart. This is a gift you have to share with the world. This is something where you will be activated in your purpose. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna, Jamie, I know you have Venus is in the 6th house, right? Like I memorized some of my best friends' charts. So I correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's in the 6th house and they're both in Virgo, or they're both in Virgo, I think is your Mars and Venus. So Mars and Venus in Virgo would really show me that like Venus in Virgo, where you're going to get pleasure in your work, where you're going to attract things to you, where you almost have a magnetism that people cannot turn away from, is when you focus on, like, okay, in your business, serving people, wellness, like offering up to them things through ritual, giving them tips of how to take care of themselves. It's like that stuff that you love and you're drawn to, but also it's like what makes you magnetic is by sharing that. And then your Mars in Virgo is going to be like, again, you're lit up around being of service, health and wellness. Like that's where you're going to feel like, okay, I have that fire in my belly. And then a little bit of routine structure and like figuring out this like Virgoic principles of like, okay, I have structure now to what I'm doing, will also help you just go when you need to like get into that next level action mode. But like for you, Jamie, and like we're going to talk about this so much, but like the more that you really center your business around ritual and around helping other people create self-care routines, rituals, wellness, things that are nourishing to them, it's going to just turn up so much of your star power, so much of your magnetism. It's really, it's the inner and outer. So whenever our Venus and Mars are in the same sign, it's like, okay, the same thing that I'm attracted to is the thing that I'm radiating out to the world. And they're also the same thing that I'm like drawn to learn more about. And that's like, I'm passionate about is actually how I'm going to kind of get to where I go. That's the gas in the rocket ship. Okay. Someone on YouTube is talking about toilet paper. Okay. I'm going to ignore that. YouTube's very funny today. Okay, and your cosmic boss is a Virgo. Perfect, good. So I speak the language fluently of the 6th house energy. So we're looking at Mars and Venus there. Okay, so again, like why I like doing this is I've been following astrology for years, studying, and then I really started taking it to the next level a few years ago. And then in 20, 18 at the end of the year, I got like just a reading and I just wanted to focus on my business and my what am I supposed to be doing? How am I aligning myself with this? And I was like, I am literally going to follow this like a map. I'm not going to doubt myself. I'm not getting my way. I had shifted through my shops in Montauk and Brooklyn, and I was going into just this, to doing like events and my one-on-one practice and doing education. And I was like, wow, like I really have the possibility to really follow this map, like to a T right now. And not everyone has that luxury. I appreciate that, because even when I had like other business partners, I had to bounce things off of them and be like on their timeline. But as an experiment, I'm like, I'm going to follow my astrology guideline, my transits for the year, and just follow them and show up. If it says launch a product, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to doubt myself. If it says this is a time to take meetings, I'm going to go take meetings. If this says this is a time to make an investment myself, I'm just going to do it. If this is a time to sit down and shut up and be quiet, I'm going to do that and just see what happens after a year. I will say 2019 was, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's my best year in business. It was extremely, it opened up my eyes extremely to new like financial possibilities, but it literally allowed me to get my whole life into alignment that is paying off a lot this year in 2020. Like I put the pieces of the puzzle in place, and I made more money than I did the other few years. It felt a little bit like, okay, I'm kind of like restructuring things, but all of a sudden, then when 2020 hit, in like late 2019, I was like, oh, I get it. I'm in alignment. I'm following things. I paid attention. I did the homework. I followed, and now things are just chugging along. And now definitely going to have my best year in business. And I'm like, okay, this is the difference of doing it on my own and just winging it, or feeling the pressure around me. Like this person's doing that. This person says I should do that. This is what I kind of want to do, but is that coming from my head or my heart? I don't know. Whereas using astrology as this template, it's like here, here, here. Set this up, like follow this, do this, don't do this. To me, I just like it because it takes a lot of the guesswork out too. So we have like our birth chart for understanding business and our career. And then we have, also our map and our schedule and our cosmic calendar for the year. So we talked about all of midheaven, after sun, moon, rising. We talked about midheaven. We talked about Mars and Venus as a way to balance our masculine and feminine. I'm really intrigued by Mars and Venus in this context and purpose and business, because it's just like, if you can tap into that, we can be in that state of being more receptive and being in a more of a flow state, and knowing when we need to like put our feet on the pedal and put a little gas in the tank, and when we can just cruise and receive from the universe. Another big part when we're looking at astrology for business and career is definitely Mercury. Mercury is how we communicate, how we think, how we like formulate thought patterns in our head. It rules travel. So looking at our Mercury, obviously some careers are super communication based. If you work in PR, marketing, journalism, if you're doing something that's in the public eye, but really everyone needs to communicate. Everyone, whether you're on the most solo journey of your life, you're in the woods and you're working on something, you probably want to share it at some point with the world. So Mercury is really important to understand, where again your gifts of your communication are, and also where some of the things that might, like the transmission that gets a little staticky, so how to really avoid that, so you can have very clear, open communication with other people. And also like I find in the more esoteric sense that our Mercury also, I find, rules our intuition a lot, of how we receive information, how we like plug into information through our crown chakra and our third eye. Like, how do we get it? When can we just trust information that's coming through? We don't know where it's coming from. This is really about Mercury and what house it's in. So we all need communication, all right? Especially as we move forward, we need to learn how to speak to each other. We need to know how to write. And we need to know how to listen, which is a big part of our Mercury too, of like communication is a two-way street. So yeah, like I love studying Mercury because I'm Virgo, so I'm Mercury ruled. But yeah, looking at that, and again, in the esoteric sense, something that not everyone talks about, but it is looking at where you can trust your intuition. My Mercury is in Virgo at like 0 degrees. So part of me, it's really like activates like a channel for me. Like when I'm in session with someone or I'm speaking, I know things with my brain. When I write stuff, I'll think of something. But sometimes when I'm speaking, information comes through and I don't know how. It's like that claircognizance. It's just in the speaking, in the talking, information is like pouring through. And again, without astrology, I might not have ever trusted that. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, Mercury and Virgo, 0 degrees. Like Virgo is a very witchy priestess, healing earth mama sign. So to have that direct connection, it's like it helped me trust that flow a little bit. So we only have a few more minutes here. So I'm just going to touch on one last thing, even though there's so many things to look at in your chart. And why I like talking about all of this is because if you are alive, if you have breath in your lungs, you have a heartbeat here, in your heart chakra, then you have purpose. You have something to share with the world. You have a gift. You have something that's uniquely yours, that's just yours. No one else has it. And the world needs exactly you in that, delivering it in your unique, quirky, potentially misfit, rebellious, revolutionary way. Okay. We can look at other people for role models and for guidance, but that's like training wheels. We want to do that to get to enough of a spot of momentum where you can just bust your wings wide open and just soar the way you're meant to. Okay. I don't just believe this, I know it. I know it as a fact. As much as a fact as I'm holding this mug right now, I know that. And again, our birth chart is just a great way of tuning into that and tapping into that. So the last part of your chart, and speaking of that more soul-centered astrology, is definitely looking at your North Node and South Node. There's a great book, I have it here actually, Astrology for the Soul. And Jan Spiller, I think her name's Jan Spiller. She writes, all of her books are like the best books on astrology, like the 101, the basics, the one that everyone should have in their library if you're interested in astrology. But yeah, like this whole book focuses on North Node, South Node. This is like destiny astrology. Looking at your lunar nodes are about like, what lessons from your past life are you leaving behind, and what's your karmic destiny line that you're moving towards. So I just did a reading for someone, and they were on like their South Node was in Taurus, so they were leaving behind like kind of the material realm, and maybe in the past life they only just cared about what they could see and touch. And this lifetime, they're learning more about the deeper things and the more soulful connections and relationships and the unseen realm and matters of the heart. I mean, very, very, very simple. Okay, like for me, I'll just keep using my astrology because I also don't want to blow up all my clients' charts. So I'm Gemini North Node, Sagittarius South Node. So when someone first read that for me, it was like, okay, in past lives, you probably love to travel. You were really hard to pin down. You didn't want to be in one spot for too long. And I was like, oh, I totally resonate that, because in my earlier part of my life, my late teens, my early 20s, I just wanted to travel. I did not want to settle down. I did not want to be in one spot. And they were like, in your past life, someone who read this to me was like, you learned so much, but you weren't able to share it with anyone because you were just running off doing your own thing. And you also got kind of a complex where you were like on an ivory tower, like a professor or someone who was way too much like into academia and wasn't amongst the people. And I was like, okay. So also astrology readings call you out sometimes. And then it's in Gemini North Node. Now you're here to be a teacher, and you're here to be like on people's level, and you're here to learn information and share it, and you're here to communicate it. And you're also here to like put some roots down, make something right here. Gemini, like third house, is very much about like your local community, like neighborhood energy, and really make a community. So that makes sense for me. And it totally makes sense because even like you could feel your old past life stuff coming up sometimes where it's like, I just want to run away. No, I'm just kidding. But definitely in my 20s, I was like, I just wanted to roam the whole planet. I definitely did not want to be tied down at all. And then again, that's fine. It's fine to live through some of your South Node stuff, but your North Node pulling that, like it's like a light, like sunshine that's pulling you towards it. And it's like, yes, align with this. This is soul astrology. This is like bigger than the here and now. This is fulfilling your karma. This is fulfilling like soul growth. This is doing something that's so much bigger than what we see in front of us. And when we do this and we plug into that, then shit gets bananas and you step into mega flow state. Okay, so that is kind of the basics of astrology for business. There's so much more I can talk about, especially, I didn't really get that much into projections, how we look at transits. Definitely start with your lunar return for the month as a day to be creative, to go within and just like work on something on your own is really important. So everyone has one, surprise, every month. you have like a moon birthday. So make time for that. And again, some people ask about Cosmic Boss. We're launching. We already have like a bunch of you enrolled. I'm so excited. This is for those of you who are really just want something bigger out of life, whether you want to start your own business, take your current business to the next level, or just have more alignment and more confidence and more spiritual support in your current role. This is about like really balancing the inner world and the outer world, because we're going through a huge transition right now. And I want people to have support. I want business support so you can make those dollars and grow and put beautiful things out in the world. I want you to have mindset support so we can keep checking in with ourselves and getting out of our own damn way when the next opportunity, the next invitation to grow comes, right? Because that keeps happening. That's not a one-time thing. And then I want you to have spiritual support. I want you to understand how to take care of yourself through rituals, through building altars, through working with crystals and the earth, through manifestation energy, through working with astrology. Because to me, this whole totality of this is how we have real success. Okay. This is how we have real success, where we can still enjoy our lives. We can put something out and be of service. We can show up for our relationships as the most fulfilled, prosperous, freest version of ourselves. Okay. This is what we're entering. So it's a 6-month mentorship. I try to keep the cost as low as possible because you're going to get a ton of like individual support. We're going to have a fucking blast. You're going to come out of this really changed. So if you feel like this is something that you're ready to commit to, DM me. We only have a few more spots. And again, this is for like, if you're ready to come out in 6 months as a new version of you. Okay. This is like no toe in the shallow end. This is like for my babies and bosses and baddies who are ready to go right into the deep end with me. So good astrology apps. There are so many, Marie Rose. I like iLuna for tracking the moon. And then the pattern is good for learning about yourself, but they don't actually talk about astrology. So if you're trying to learn astrology, I would literally start with iLuna and then time passages for learning your own chart. And you can check the daily transits and see how they're affecting your chart. And those are both free. So you're welcome. All right, everybody. So I totally love all of you. Thank you for joining me here in this rainy Saturday. Thank you to my YouTube people and all the weird comments I got on YouTube today. I respect that too, because that kind of made me laugh and I needed it. So yes, DM me if you want to set up a free one-on-one discovery call for a Cosmic Boss. I'll be offering them through early this week. And yeah, just go out there and like, just go explore your chart a little bit today. It's fun. Okay. I'm sending you all love. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, Kelly. You're welcome. You're welcome, Gabriella. Bye, bye, bye. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll put the link to everything that I was talking about in the comments below.